Farm was homesteaded in 1775, and it's been in the Hervey family ever since. And we decided we were blessed with this land, let's put it to use. So that's kind of how Family Roots Farm formally started. The maple part of our farm has really grown. We started with the 20 taps, and now we're pushing 1,000 taps. What really has changed in our maple business is in 2015, we submitted our maple sugar for like a judging contest. To much of our surprise, we were awarded first place at the international conference, and that was a turning point for our business. It brought great opportunities. One opportunity was everyone wanted to come see our sugar shack and how we make maple syrup. And at the time, it was like a 10 by 10 metal stranded building in my parents' driveway. So we looked at it as an opportunity to build the sugar shack that we operate in today. And that's what made us turn more into a commercial operation and really focusing on those value-added products. We started Family Roots Farm in 2013, and I attended my first Women in Agriculture conference through WVU Extension, and I learned about Annie's Project. And we attended our first Annie's Project class. And Dr. D says, how do you set your price for your products? And we set it by our Google search. And she about fell off her chair. She said, you Google search, and if you Google a gallon of maple syrup, you can find it for anywhere very, $20 up to $80. I mean, it's a very wide scale. So that was our first lesson, was how to make an enterprise budget. And we never even heard that terminology before. Being active and taking a lot of the training courses is how we got our farm where we are today. And it would not be possible without our resources and network of folks, WVU Extension, SARE, NRCS. It took what we felt was a hobby to a business, but all along we did have that business, and Dr. D made us see that. And not only did she make us see it, but she made us believe it. There's so many great resources out there that have provided us with education, technical support, and financial support that we wouldn't be where we are today.
I have worked with Family Roots Farm as long as I've been engaged in the maple scene down here. They're a wonderful family organization, part of the community, mentored them in their sap and syrup production. And I've used Family Roots as a site to implement maple research and move our agenda forward. Here at Future Generations, I do a lot of adapting research and findings from up north to our specific climate and our specific soils down here in Appalachia, in West Virginia. I work with Family Roots Farm as well as a number of other producers trying to increase their production through application of research. My own personal research has been in sap and syrup production in walnut. We're developing a specific spout or spile that you insert in the walnut trees to extract the sap. And it's our hope that we'll be able to see a walnut industry, actually seeing a walnut industry, walnut sap and syrup industry developing in our region. I want to emphasize that here at Future Generations, these grants are within a program. We have a commitment to helping communities develop and change. We have a commitment to this initiative, and developing a sap and syrup industry. And of course, if you're going to tap your trees, you're probably not going to cut them down. Promoting the industry promotes sustainable forestry practices. We can earn an income, livelihood enhancement through our maple trees without putting them on the log deck. And what our Northeast SARE programs have done have been a launching point from which we've then gone out and found other additional funds for each of those projects to keep them going. So when the grant period ends here, the program does not end.
Sugarbush today, and we're at the top of our line. So we're starting up here at the top, and this is a gravity-based system. So what these lines are here, they are a 5/16 line that is gonna collect all the sap water as it's flowing down the hill to our collection tank. So we drill into the tree about 1.5 inches, and then we come straight back out and insert our tap. So now remember, when we drill in, we find a nice healthy spot on the tree. Do you think this looks good?
Yep.
Okay. So now we're gonna drill in, okay, and then we're gonna come straight back out. You ready?
Yeah.
Good job. Take your time now. Nice and easy. Oh, Grady, check it out. So we made our way down to our main line here. The lateral lines then feed into the main line, and this main line will just go right down over the hill to our collection tank, and then from there is where we'll gather our maple sap to haul back to the sugar shack.
When we get the sap in from the woods, we bring it down, and it pumps down to our milk tank down in our basement. And from our milk tank in our basement, we can do two different things. We can pump it up into our tank up here to go into our evaporator, or we can take it to our RO and RO the water. So this is our reverse osmosis machine. Same thing as you can have on your kitchen to filtrate your drinking water. With maple syrup production, we are taking the sugar and all the minerals that we want and getting rid of the water. So once we run it through the RO, it goes into another tank in the basement, and we pump it up to our sap holding tank up above us here. It goes down into our float box, into our evaporator. From where it pushes it around, it comes into our finishing pan, and our finishing pan here goes through the maze into our draw off. And we're just trying to get a little bit of syrup come out of here, just a little bit at a time. You can kind of hear it. First, before we put it through the filter press, we have to add a little bit of diatomaceous earth, which helps us filter the syrup out. So now we're going to turn the filter pump on, and right up here you can see that it's probably going to be coming through the filter. So right in here you can see that the maple syrup is getting filtered through our filter paper, and it's coming out, as you can see in this hose, crystal clear. After we filter the syrup through the filter press, if we put it into the blue jugs or we put it right into our canner, we just put it in here and we'll bring it up to temperature. We open up the valve and fill the bottle up, cap it up, and it's ready, off for sale.